Now this here is the 1850 Pro Tiller from Crestliner. I've been running these boats for years. I mean, this boat does everything that I need, you know, as far as being able to handle rough water, awesome boat control, you know, as far as just being able to keep a boat parked right on the spot, and a lot of room, you know, lots of floor space, lots of deck space. I've always loved fishing out of tillers. And just do a quick walkthrough here as far as some of the features. Now, look at the back here, which this boat has a 94-inch beam and it's 18.5 foot long. Has a 90-horse tiller. So we've got a bait well, big live well in the back. Got a storage compartment for, I generally put my batteries back here. These boats fish bigger and feel bigger than they are because in a lot of boats, you've got a lot of room being taken up by the gunnel, where you're able to use the space in a Crestliner. And part of the reason is that you've got aluminum that's welded on both sides for more durability and more strength, and also what's called work hardened sidewalls. When you look at the sides of these boats, it's almost like a panel, and you've got an angle, and then that adds more rigidness and strength to the boat, where basically you can push your storage right out to the edge of the boat. And so it just opens up the deck, it opens up the entire boat. Over here, we've got a electronics locker where you can pull this out on a tray. You've got your gauges, your switches for like your bilge and your live well. You've got additional storage over here, which I just shoved life jackets in the side storage here, but then you look at the deck. This boat has a lot of deck space. It's got a pretty large rod locker. You know, you can fit musky rods in there, you can fit trolling rods in there. There's storage below the rod locker for your trolling motor battery. Got more storage here, which I just put planer boards and rope. Got another live well, and then we've got two large storage compartments up here as well. And so there's just a lot of space in this boat. I mean, it doesn't matter if you want to troll, if you want to run live bait rigs, if you need a back troll, fishing off the bow, fishing off the back. If you love to walleye fish, you can do everything out of this boat with total boat control. You know, so that's the walkthrough of the 1850 Pro Tiller. Again, 18.5 feet long, 94-inch beam, 32-gallon fuel tank. So I also find that this boat is very economical. Now, as far as, you know, added accessories that I've added to the boat, you know, there's a couple of things that I really like, and I'll just point them out here. I love to have splash guards, especially on a tiller. I still do some back trolling. I find that really strong winds, it's still a phenomenal way to control the boat. And so I'm a big fan of the Walleye Master splash guards. They have a lot of flex, and so you can push back into some big waves and really hold the boat without worrying about them breaking. On the rail system, which Crestliner and Lund have a genius rail system as far as adding downrigger plates, adding rod holders. You can add anything on this rail system. So on these plates that mount right in this rail, I've got the TKI rod holders, which you can see here, there's a trigger. Really easy to get the rod out of the rod holder. I always like to put aqua traction in the boats. If you walk around the boat barefoot, it doesn't get hot. And it's just good for your back. I mean, if you're standing up all day, it's just real comfortable to stand on. As far as up in the front of the boat, I like to run my bows stacked, especially with using forward-facing sonar. And I like to mount them up as high as I can. And so this here's the boat EFX. And then I'm running Lowrance HDS electronics units, and then the Lowrance Recon trolling motor. Also on the back of the boat, I've got a 3-in-1 transducer, and I've got it mounted on a block. But I have the tail tamer mounted above the transducer, where I can lower that transducer a little bit, which I find with aluminum hulls, it is the way to go. Put the tail tamer right above your 3-in-1 transducer, lower that transducer just a touch where you're below the hull of the boat, and it just seems like you get such great high-speed readings. I mean, this boat here goes 33 to 35 miles an hour and wide open and never misses a beat as far as good high-speed readings. And so whether you're trying to, you know, look for hazards, watch the depth, or even mark fish at those speeds, that'll help your performance a lot with your electronics. And then with the trolling motor, you know, I'm running a 36-volt Norsk Lithium system. And again, if you haven't used lithium batteries yet, at least for your trolling motor, I tell you what, if you're in strong current, if you're in big waves, you know, where that trolling motor is working all day, lithium batteries are the answer. I mean, you just go all day, it just takes all the worries away. And so I've got a 36-volt Norsk system below the rod locker, but I'm also using lithium batteries to power my graphs. And so right now here I've got two 16-inch HDS Pros in here, draws a lot of power. That also, the forward-facing sonar, the ActiveTarget 2, that also draws additional power. And so what a lot of anglers have started to do is just run a standalone house battery just for their electronics, where if you were to look, say, 20 years ago, you know, everybody's running their electronics right off of their cranking battery, okay? And that's probably one of the big trends that we're seeing is have a standalone cranking battery that's just for your big motor and just for your switches, okay? And for your electronics, run it off of a separate battery. Couple advantages. Big thing is you've got clean power. Then the other thing is if you do finally wear that battery down, you're still going to be able to start your motor because it is a lot of pull. And that's something, you know, just a tip is when you turn your motor on, if your graphs go dim, you don't have enough power. Okay, you need more battery. You know, a standalone battery, you just need more volts. Okay, and so a couple of things that I do to the boat, but you know, every year, you know, try a few new things, stick with what we know works as well, and about the time you get it perfect, you know, you sell it. But tell you what, I've been running these been running these for many years, and feel like I kind of got them dialed in here at this point.